Some of the world's biggest companies didn't start with fully developed products. They began with simple MVPs that tested one core idea. These case studies show how starting small, learning fast, and iterating intelligently can turn minimal prototypes into global successes. Let's explore a few powerful examples of MVPs that made it big and the lessons each one offers for founders building their own path. Let's start with Airbnb. In 2007, Brian Chesky and Joe Gebbia were struggling to pay rent in San Francisco. When they noticed that hotels were fully booked during a local design conference, they had an idea. What if they rented out air mattresses in their apartment to attendees who couldn't find accommodation? They quickly created a simple website called Air Bed and Breakfast, posted a few photos, and offered breakfast and a place to sleep for $80 a night. Their MVP wasn't fancy. It didn't have booking automation, payment systems, or scalability, but it validated one crucial hypothesis. People were willing to stay in someone else's home if it was convenient and affordable. That insight became the foundation of Airbnb. The founders kept iterating, adding payments, expanding listings, and improving trust features like profiles and reviews. Today, Airbnb is a multi-billion-dollar platform operating in over 200 countries, all from an MVP that started with 3 air mattresses and a homemade website. The lesson from Airbnb is clear. An MVP doesn't need to be complex. It needs to test demand. Build just enough to learn if your idea solves a real problem. Next, let's look at Dropbox. In 2008, cloud storage wasn't common, and Drew Houston wanted to make file syncing seamless, but building such technology required heavy engineering. So instead of writing code, Houston created a demo video, a simple screen recording showing how Dropbox would work. The video explained the value proposition clearly and demonstrated the user experience. It went viral among tech enthusiasts, leading to over 75,000 beta signups overnight. That video was Dropbox's MVP. It validated the idea without a finished product. Only after confirming strong interest did the team invest time in development. This approach saved enormous resources and ensured they were building something people actually wanted. The takeaway? Sometimes your MVP isn't a product. It's a demonstration of value that proves interest before you build. Another iconic example is Uber. Before becoming a global ride-hailing giant, Uber started in 2010 as UberCab, a simple app that connected a small group of San Francisco users with black car drivers. The MVP only had one feature: request a ride at the tap of a button. No pricing tiers, no GPS tracking, no driver ratings, just a basic on-demand car service. The early version validated a powerful insight. People loved the convenience of getting a ride instantly. Once that behavior was confirmed, Uber expanded to include GPS tracking, dynamic pricing, and peer-to-peer drivers. The lesson? MVPs don't need to solve every part of a problem, just the most painful one. Uber proved that convenience and speed were the core drivers of user adoption. Now consider Instagram. Originally, the founders Kevin Systrom and Mike Krieger were working on a location-based app called Bourbon that allowed users to check in at places, plan meetups, and share photos. Through user behavior, they discovered one thing: people loved the photo sharing feature far more than anything else. They stripped away every other function, kept filters and sharing, and relaunched the product as Instagram. That pivot, driven by user feedback, transformed their MVP into one of the fastest-growing apps in history, reaching 1 million users in just 2 months. Instagram's story highlights the power of iteration and focus. Listen to what users love most and double down on it. Finally, let's look at Zappos, the online shoe retailer. Founder Nick Swinmurn wanted to test whether people would buy shoes online before investing in inventory. His MVP was incredibly simple. He took photos of shoes from local stores, posted them online, and when someone placed an order, he bought the shoes himself and shipped them. It wasn't scalable, but it proved the concept that customers were willing to purchase shoes online. That insight laid the foundation for a company later acquired by Amazon for over $1 billion. Zappos MVP reminds us that scalability isn't the goal at first. Validation is. Do whatever it takes to prove demand before optimizing operations. Across all these examples, one principle stands out. Start simple, learn fast, and iterate based on real feedback. Each company used its MVP to test assumptions, gather data, and evolve its product over time. None started with a perfect version. They built toward greatness through continuous learning. So, what can you learn from these stories for your own MVP journey? Focus on solving one clear problem. Don't overbuild. Create the smallest, simplest version that lets you test your core hypothesis. Use data and user behavior to guide every decision. And when something resonates, double down. In summary, the world's most successful products didn't begin with massive budgets or complex technology. They started with scrappy experiments rooted in user need. Whether it's a demo video, a single web page, or a small pilot program, your MVP is a learning tool, not a finished product. If you treat it that way, you might just build the next Airbnb, Dropbox, or Uber.